Hello, welcome to Access. My name is Nathan and this is a video about upcoming war-themed action-adventure Hell Is Us, a reflective game with some beautiful environments, contrasting darkness, and a bunch of these lads guarding an ancient secret. This video is based on just over 2 hours with the game, which was barely enough really to get to grips with the mix of what's going on. A combination of a realistic examination of the evil that we're all capable of doing to each other, and intense stamina-based combat against what's best described as really angry Nook. The little press tour card I got when I went to play the game at an event last month says, "The central theme of Hell Is Us is that human violence is a perpetual cycle fueled by human emotions and passions," which I'm sure the studio Rogue Factor would be relieved to know I agree with. A lot of what you'll be doing in Hell Is Us is talking to sighing citizens, the bereaved, beleaguered and displaced.
It's quite a ways from here.
And exploring familiar from war photography settings in villages and farmlands. It's like The Witcher 3 in a way, with a really sophisticated modern day patch, steeped in the human cost of war and the unremarkable places those costs are accounted for. Specifically, that setting is, well, unspecific. The fictional country of Hedaya, a close-bordered state now in the grips of a bitter civil war. While it's designed to be pretend but plausible, Rogue Factor pitching its themes as universal rather than pinned to a particular conflict, Hedaya looks to this 90s kid like a reframing of the Yugoslav wars, with its embedded ethnic divisions, its blue peacekeeping helmets, and its visual vocabulary of modern European conflict, murals, mountains, urban devastation. There are nods to other intractable hostilities. In one town there's a tricolour and the Irish Republican slogan, "Our day will come." But the Balkan theme dominates. The title of the game seems to be a quotation from Bosnian director Danis Tanovic, who made the Oscar-winning film No Man's Land about the Yugoslav war. Sartre was wrong, he once told an interviewer. Hell is us, not them. In terms of us and them, we are Remy, who was born in Hedaya but smuggled out as a child by his parents. Signing up as a peacekeeper is his latest attempt to find a way back into the country in order to track them down. Remy goes AWOL immediately to start his search, working his way through the war-torn countryside, tracking clues and conversations on his handheld device. The game is big on the idea of avoiding hand-holding and signposting. The team calls this approach player plattering, as opposed to silver plattering, I guess, giving the player clues to get going and then enough space to explore them and follow a trail. It doesn't mean walking around blind. There are still markers once you've discovered clues and points of interest, just encouraging you to lean into the why and the where of the journey. In a way, Remy is the perfect protagonist for this story. He is of this land of ancient divisions, but like us, a stranger to it. And his journey back to the site of his childhood is our collective return through the game to whatever primeval impulses caused the cycles of violence it spends its time trying to fathom. Which brings us back to those pale creatures and whatever unearthly calamity is unfolding beside the Civil War. I said Hell Is Us reminds me of The Witcher, and like The Witcher, Hell Is Us escapes to the supernatural to explain or to express the incongruity of human conflict.
What the fuck?
It's the everyday giving way to the unimaginable. After all, the game seems to suggest, are neighbours turning on each other any more plausible than these uncanny pale figures?
Either way, it's your job to beat them up. Aside from exploring, Rogue Factor estimate that around 50% of the game is taken up with its melee combat system against various iterations of these hollow walkers. The game is not a Soulslike, also noted on my handout, but it does borrow from some of the best. Like Sekiro, the stamina-focused combat has a focus on parries, stance breaking and powerful finishes. There's a healing pulse similar to Neo's key pulse system. But there are also new touches. Your maximum stamina matches your current health level, giving you less room to maneuver as you take damage. And you have a range of customizable special abilities thanks to your drone, Cappy. The combat is deep and will need more than 2 hours to get beyond the immediate cut and thrust and to see how the upgrades to skills and weapons and the variations in weapons themselves will feel over the long haul.
But for me, the key to the success of Hell Is Us won't be the combat. I like the feel of the fighting, and I like the ragged feel of the human interactions. But more than anything, it's the style I'm drawn to. Of the hollow walkers, of Remy's cloaked silhouette, of the angled architecture of the ancient sites of hidden ritual and purpose that he gradually uncovers, archaeological foundations of the enmities still plaguing the land. The soundtrack has an eerie, ominous strength. Hedaya feels like a place where anything could happen, which is of course Rogue Factor's way of telling us that, awfully but inevitably, it does. Hell Is Us is the game that makes the world and its violence feel strange to let us know how commonplace it is. I'm looking forward to playing more. Hell Is Us is out for PlayStation 5 on the 4th of September. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to Access for more videos like this, and talk to us. Please talk to us in the comments.
PlayStation